Hello, friends. How are you doing today? I hope you all are doing good. Today, we are going to discuss one of the book that is The Law of One. I hope you have heard about it. It has been recently discussed a lot and it caught my interest, and I'm still very much interested in this book. And the theories, the lessons, the concepts which it is discussing are mind blowing. Basically, this book is about the sessions. It's a conversations, 106 conversation around between the uh, professor of physics Don Alkins and the UFO investigator, and it has named itself as a Ra. And this has been taking place through a person named Carla, and it it was initially started in a laboratory settings, you can say, but then later on it has been published in a book form. So today I'm going to discuss some one of its concept. It has shed a light on different aspects of life. It has discussed the law of one, what it is about, the higher self. It has talked about the self-awareness, and it has discussed many other topics. Like, too many topics has been discussed. If you want to go through them, you can on their website. They have a website that is lawofone.info. You can browse by category. They have discussed the balancing before the well. They have discussed the cosmology. They have discussed the earth presence, energy centers, harvest, healing, meditation, negative path, positive path, pyramids. They have discussed so many concepts, and it is really enticing to read about it. So today I'm going to read about one concept that is about the higher self, what they are talking about it. Before going into deep, I will try to quote one of the quote from the book. That is, it talks like this: I am Ra, the law of one. Though beyond the limitations of name, as you call, vibratory sound complexes may be approximated by stating that all things are one, that there is no polarity, no right, no wrong, no disharmony, but only identity. All is one. And that one is love, light, love, the infinite creator. That's the basic concept of the law of one that is governing it. Like, it is talking about that whole universe is one. There's nothing wrong, right, there's no other person. It is just one. And this concept in itself is very enticing, very interesting for me, and it has been like holding my attention for a long time now. So I just thought that I should talk about this topic and discuss it with you guys, that what you think about it. And you can also give state your point of view in comments, like what do you think about these concepts. And the book itself is very difficult, and there are around, I guess, 5 books in which these all conversations are listed, but it's very difficult. The language in which they are communicating with us is very difficult to understand, but still we are trying to understand like what they are trying to send the messages. Sometimes they are clear, sometimes they are not clear. Okay, the law of one material is a series of 106 conversations called sessions between a Don Alkins, a professor of physics and UFO investigator, and Ra speaking through Carla. Ra states that if there are 6 density social memory complex that formed on Venus, the planet we are talking about like 2.6 billion years ago, Ra says that they are humble messengers of law of one, and previously they have tried to spread this message in Egypt with mixed results. The material was channeled through by LL Research, Carla, Don, and Jim McCarthy between 1981 and 84. It has been published in a book form, and the books can be freely downloaded from the LL Research Library or purchased from Amazon. The methodology which they used to contact the Ra has been described in detail in the introduction of the original book 1. So you can check that out on the website, or you can find some audiobooks. So let's moving on to the law of one, the category of higher self. So this would flow in like there would be some questions and Ra would be answering them. Before going into detail of this, I want to shed a light on something like called the densities. There is a concept of densities. you can relate it to the dimensions. We are a third dimensional being, but the Ra is stating there are around 8 to 10 densities are existing in the universe right now. How do you understand about these densities? Densities are the dimensions, and the Ra is from the other dimension, not from this dimension in which we are residing. So in their world or their universe, it's different from what we have. Each density refers to different level of consciousness. The first density it suggests is the earth, water, air and fire. It's a solid, liquid, gas and plasma kind of thing. Second density is organic life, that's the plants, animals and bacteria. Third density is mind, body, spirit complex, which we are like human beings. Inhabitants is a self-awareness density of duality. That's a third density basically in which we are all residing. Fourth density is a vibrational spectrum, love and understanding. Fifth density is a density of life or wisdom. Sixth density is a unity consciousness where love and wisdom are united. Like we see, the fourth density is a vibrational, that is love and understanding. Fifth is the density of wisdom. So when you combine both of them, wisdom and love, it's a sixth density, which is a unity consciousness where love and wisdoms are united. Seventh is a gateway density before the mind, body, spirit merge back into creator. So the concept of one, that is like going back to one, everything is one. Seventh density is that gateway density before the mind, body, spirit merge back into the creator. Eighth density, beginning of the next octave new journey. So these are the densities which has been discussed in the law of one. So I have explained this because it will help you to understand a little bit of the concept in which we are going right now. Okay, starting the law of one, category higher self. Question: what I am trying to understand here is more about the higher self and its relationship with the mind, body, spirit complex, that is human, us. Does the higher self have a sixth density, mind, body, spirit complex, that is separate unit from the mind, body, spirit complex, that is in this case displaced to negative time space? So the question in itself is very complex, but it is asking that the third density, people like we, higher self, does the higher self sixth density mind body complex that is separate from the unit? Okay, so it is asking that the sixth density inhabitants are different from the third density inhabitants, like because it Ra belongs to the sixth density. So the questioner is asking, are they different from us in the simplest language? Okay, so here is the answer. Ra, I am Ra. This is correct. The higher self is entity of the mid sixth density, which turning back offers this service to itself. Okay, the next question. I think I have an erroneous concept of the mind body spirit complex. For instance, that I present here in this density and my higher self. The concept probably comes from my concept of the space and time. I am going to try to unscramble it. The way I see it right now is that I am existing in two different locations here and in the mid sixth density simultaneously. Is that correct? So the question is trying to ask in here is that he's suggesting the higher self is sixth density being, okay, and we are third density being. So he's asking that I feel that I'm living in third density and I'm also residing in sixth density. Is that correct? That's what he's trying to ask. Ra, I'm Ra. You are existing at all levels simultaneously. It is suggesting that yes, we are existing at all the densities, the 8 density. It is specifically correct that your higher self is you in the mid sixth density, and in your way of measuring what you know of as time, your higher self is yourself in your future. So you see the question, like it is suggesting yes, our higher self does reside in future. So when we are meditating and trying to contact our higher self and we say it will guide you for the betterment, okay, the free will is there, but then it will guide you for the betterment. It will not influence your free will, but still, if you want to console it, it can guide you. The reason is explained here because it's a mid-6th density being. Next question. Am I correct in assuming that all the mind-body-spirit complexes that exist in the levels below the mid-6th density have a higher self in the mid-6th density? Is that correct? I'm Ra, that is correct. Again, the same question is there, that all higher self lives in that density. Yes, there does. Okay. Then the question is, would an analogy for this situation be that the individual's higher self is manipulating to some extent? Shall I say that mind-body-spirit complex, that is its analog? You might say to move it through the lower densities for the purpose of gaining experience and then finally transferring that experience or amalgamating it you might say in the mid-6th density with the higher self. I hope you understood this. Let me try to explain it. It is saying that the higher self is trying to manipulate you somehow. Is that so? To gain the experience? That's what the question is asking, as per my understanding. Okay, Ra says, I am Ra. This is incorrect. The higher self does not manipulate. It's past self. It protects when possible and guides when asked. But the force of free will is paramount, as I was discussing before. That's what Ra is stating here. Yeah, higher self is not going to manipulate you. It will only guide you. Then it's your free will, what you want to do. The seeming contradictions of the determinism and the free will melt when it is accepted that there is such a thing as true simultaneity. The higher self is the end result of all the development experienced by mind, body, spirit complex to that point. It is suggesting here, it is saying here that it is like after all the experience, when a spirit is going through different experiences, okay, in these densities. So higher self is that end result. It's an end result of the experience. So it is not trying to gain the experience by manipulating its a past self. No, it is not doing that. Okay, the questioner then asks, then what are we looking at in a long path of experience through the densities up to the mid-6th density, which are a function totally of the free will and results in awareness of the higher self in the mid-6th density. But since the time is illusionary and there is a, shall I say, unification of time and space, or an eradication of what we think of as a time, then all this experience that results in a higher self, the cause of development through the densities, is existing while the evolvement takes place, since it's all simultaneous. Is that correct? The questioner is asking, like, what is the purpose of this all? If everything is unification, there's no time space concept, everything is simultaneously, then what is the concept? Like, why it is there? Like, why? I am Ra. We refrain from speaking of the correctness due to our understanding of the immense difficulty of absorbing the concepts of metaphysical existence. In time space, which is precisely as much of yourself as in time, space-time, all the times are simultaneous. Just as in your geography, your cities and villages all are functioning, bustling and alive with entities going about their businesses at once. So it's the time space with the self. It's again stating that yes, these all densities are simultaneously going on. But for our mind, like for me, like for humans, it's very natural to not accept this thing, that how it is possible. So Ra is giving an example here. It is same as like all the villages, cities are functioning all together, okay? They are there. It's just that we can't see them. It doesn't mean that they don't exist. In the same way, densities are there. They are working proportionally, parallelly with us in the parallel universe, but they are there. So they are working simultaneously. Question. Questioner. The higher self existing in the mid sixth density seems to be at the point where the negative and positive parts of experience merge into one. Is there any reason for this? There's a concept that there's a positive and negative parts, but Ra does not understand the positive and negative because they don't have this. Everything is one. That's what they say. So the questioner is asking, in the sixth density, they are merging the positive part and the negative part. Is there any reason for this? He's asking for the reason. I'm Ra. We have covered this metaphysic material previously. It has discussed it in some other section. So when we will go to that section, I will explain it to you. So today we have discussed that how Ra has explained the higher self. If you see that these questions and the answers to this really sounds the knowledge which is coming from some higher self in the future which is residing over there, and as they claim they have come all the way from there just to help the human beings. They are delivering the message for the growth of the human beings, of this world, the planet, the inhabitants of this planet. So this sounds very curious and very interesting to me. Please do tell me about your concepts, your view about the higher self in accordance with the law of one. If you have liked this, like how you interact with this, what do you think about it? There are so many concepts which people are discussing about it. The harvest, I'm also very fascinated by the concept of the harvest and the healing, like self-awareness, the consciousness, like how this all is working, what are the thoughts here. So please do pour in your response here so we can discuss it further. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching Reflective Minds. Let's stay here together and talk about it. And peace to you all. Thank you so much. Bye.